This is not a Hollywood blockbuster.
This is what it looks like when U.S. and Phil military come together, train together.
In 2023, led by the United States, extra-regional countries dispatched tens of thousands of military personnel to the South China Sea, conducting over 20 military exercises or freedom of navigation operations. The justification provided by the United States for this action was,
in the past few years, we've seen more threats to this region than we have seen in the past several decades combined.
The entire country, not just the armed forces of the Philippines, would be ready in case a threat would come to our shores.
To standing with the Philippines against any intimidation or coercion, including in the South China Sea.
A monitoring report jointly conducted by the CMG Voice of the South China Sea and Jinan University reveals that in 2023, international media published over 44,000 articles concerning the South China Sea issue, delineating the trends of public opinion over the past year. Among these, February 1st marked the pinnacle of public discourse for the entire year. This peak was triggered by an article published on the official website of the U.S. Department of Defense, announcing that the Philippines and the United States would establish 4 new military bases in the Philippines in response to shared challenges. The news immediately sparked widespread protests within the Philippines. The second peak occurred on April the 3rd, following the announcement by the Philippines and the United States of the locations for the 4 newly established military bases. Subsequently, from April 11th to 28th, the largest ever joint military exercises between the United States and the Philippines took place in the South China Sea. Among the myriad reports on this event, Filipino experts have expressed concerns about the safety of their people. Other focal points of public discourse centered on the conflicts between China and the Philippines near仁爱礁. These two events unfolded in a similar way. In both cases, Philippine resupply vessels entered the adjacent waters of仁爱礁, prompting action from China Coast Guard, who suspected the presence of construction materials on board. To prevent the Philippines from permanently fortifying the grounded tank landing ship BRP Sierra Madre at仁爱礁, China Coast Guard took action against Philippine resupply vessels following monitoring and verbal warnings. This intervention did not result in any casualties among the Philippine personnel. The swift escalation of the situation quickly captured international media attention. According to a data analysis report jointly conducted by the CMG Voice of the South China Sea and Jinan University, the loudest voice came from extra-regional countries, notably the United States. The U.S. media outlet Breaking Defense published an article in the Indo-Pacific section citing insights from a seasoned maritime expert who directly addressed the true intentions of the United States in the South China Sea.
The Mutual Defense Treaty applies to armed attacks on either armed forces or aircraft or public vessels, including our Coast Guard, anywhere in the South China Sea.
Concurrently, regarding the impact of the U.S. Indo-Pacific strategy on the security of the South China Sea, analysts from within the region have expressed the following viewpoints.
A third country like the United States come into the picture and push the Philippines, or to provoke China for that matter, a third world war is possible.
The United States asserts that it has intervened in the South China Sea out of a sense of duty to protect its allies and safeguard freedom of navigation. However, from China's perspective, the United States, as an extra-regional power and in order to implement its pivot to Asia strategy, utilizes the Philippines as a focal point, continuously deploys military assets in the South China Sea, and sows discord in China's relations with its ASEAN neighbors, posing a significant threat to the peace and stability of the South China Sea. So, what's your take on this?